guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, it's been a long time since I've done an anti-haul, but it's holiday season, so we have a lot of material.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression, there is no fucking mindset.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Today's video is sponsored by the caffeine running through my bloodstream. Full details of this very cool tone look. I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing on my eyes because it's in the video, but should already be on Instagram. I'm wearing my heart merch right now in a sweatshirt because I feel like California should be cooler than it is right now, but I think it's like 90 degrees today. Yeah. Today's dew fairy of the day is Emily Willis. Thank you so much for having your notification bell on. Let's get this roasted cooking.
Now everybody's ganging up against me. For what? What the fuck did I do?
I'm going to start off with something that I actually think is a really cute idea, and hopefully it's the same formula wise, but ABH is coming out with a mini soft glam palette called the Soft Glam 2. It is 8 pans. They're exactly the same size as the regular ABH pans, and it's basically just a shrunken down version of the Soft Glam palette, which I think is awesome. But I think they did a great job with selecting, I think, my favorite shades in the Soft Glam palette. Like, if they were going to kick out any shades for a smaller version of the palette, I think they kicked out the correct ones. It has Mulberry, which I think is one of the most unique ABH shades, Dusty Rose, Sultry, which is my favorite metallic in the palette, and Orange Soda, which I know is one of ABH's most popular matte singles. So in terms of shade selection for the mini palette, I think they did an awesome job. And honestly, I would highly recommend this palette to anybody who's wanted the Soft Glam palette for a while, but maybe didn't want to spend the full $45 on a bigger palette, especially if you have a lot of the other shades. This, I think, is the most unique shades from the Soft Glam palette, culled down into a smaller version. And provided that the formula is the same, I think this is awesome. Plus, it doesn't have a brush, which I know a lot of people don't like the brushes in the ABH palettes. So yeah, I think this release is awesome. I have no complaints about it. Obviously, I won't be getting it because I have the bigger Soft Glam, and I would love to see them do this with like Modern Renaissance, honestly. I think the two of those together would be really cute as minis. Honestly, I think this is the only release from ABH that has been like slightly acceptable to me throughout the year, so good job. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is this palette that looks like it would be something that I would make fun of. The Colourpop Stone Cold Fox palette, which I actually have in person, so I'll show it to you guys. This is the biggest Colourpop palette that I own. I was sent the Bare Necessities when it was released, but it was pretty much just like an extra big version of Soft Glam in terms of shade composition, so I wasn't super interested. And that's the main criticism I've seen so far of this palette, are that the shades are redundant with what Bare Necessities already has. Honestly, I kind of disagree. I think this is a really awesome and very welcome addition to Colourpop's offering. Colourpop comes out with so many palettes every year, but I feel like they rarely ever do cool tone neutrals. When they do neutrals, it's usually always to the very warm tone side, edging on orange. They did just come out with something that does look like a smaller version of this one, which is the Taupe mini palette, along with Ritz and pretty packaging that I almost bought, but then I was like, no, idiot. So if you don't want 35 eyeshadows, which honestly same, I would recommend going for the little 9 pan, but so far I've been very impressed with this palette, and you guys know I've not loved Colourpop's formula this year. It's not full of mattes with micro glitters, which I love. I think it's pretty much all true mattes except for 3 of the shades in here. The metallics are lovely, and I don't actually have a ton of gray mattes in my collection. I really enjoy the gray shades in here, but I feel like you also get kind of like mauve-y cool tone neutrals on this row, nice true kind of taupey browns, grays, pretty much everything you would need in here for a good cool toned essentials look. And even though it's 35 shades, I honestly don't feel like a lot of space is wasted. It's really not like a Morphe palette. The pans are pretty small, and I feel like it's still compact for a bigger palette. So I was kind of surprised, but I really like this palette a lot. The reason I want to bring this one up and kind of share my little review on it is because it also looks very similar to another new palette from Natasha Denona. It's called the Glam Palette. Is it not this, basically? It looks like it's one of Natasha's smaller palettes, so it is $65 instead of the full $129. I still don't think Natasha's formula is anywhere near worth what she charges for it. Her formula is not bad, but I don't think it's anywhere near worth the hype, and it does dry out really quickly. Like, her shadows do not have a long shelf life whatsoever, but the color scheme is really pretty, and the packaging is very nice. I think the packaging of this palette is pretty similar in terms of aesthetics. Obviously, this is a lot less expensive, and in my opinion, I think the formula from Colourpop has been stepping it up in some of their bigger, like more permanent line palettes, as opposed to their more limited edition collections where they have kind of been dropping the ball. So that is my thoughts. I think neutrals has been one of the biggest palette trends of the year, which I'm not mad about, but a lot of the things have been looking the same. So, and I'll be talking about that in a video very soon. Next, I want to talk about these bronzers from Kim Chi. She's a RuPaul's Drag Race alum from season 8. One of my favorite seasons, honestly. And I don't think I've talked about the Kim Chi beauty line at all. I have liked some of their releases, but I want to talk about these very sus bronzers. The comment section on this trend mood post is a journey in itself. Most of the comments are about the very weird shade range, which 100% agree. Why do they all look the same in the swatches, but very orange and definitely not diverse enough in the pictures? However, I haven't seen a single thing about the thing that's most sus about this to me, which is that all 6 of these pictures are the exact same picture. They photoshopped the color of the bronzer. They did a pretty good job with the Photoshop of the image too, so I don't think anyone really noticed in the comment section, or I stopped scrolling before I found one, but makeup companies do this a lot, especially with foundations, which I don't understand why you would do that with products where the color matters. Especially if you're a bigger budget beauty brand, I don't understand why you can't just take pictures of every single color rather than just taking one picture and then photoshopping it to match the color of the product you're selling. And I understand why it's done. It's done to kind of give a uniform look to the product shots on the website, but if you're doing a shade range of bronzers, you should actually take pictures of the actual bronzers rather than just taking one picture and photoshopping the color to match the different shades. Anyways, the shade range is whack anyways. They're $15 each, which I think is a good price. I just want to comment on the fact that they photoshopped the colors. I don't know, and like, no hate to Kimchi's brand. A lot of makeup brands do this. Stila did it, altering the skin tone of their models. So I'm not saying that this is a practice unique to this brand, I'm just saying it's weird. I got a lot of tags on this new collection. I know I've said I've wanted to try a palette from KKW Beauty in the past, but none of them have really done it for me. You'd think this would be the one. KKW Beauty has a new Opal collection. That's Kim's birthstone apparently. And they came out with an entire collection, but I'm really only focusing on the palette. It's called the Opalescent Pressed Powder Palette, which is one of my favorite words in the English language. I don't like the palette. It seems to be kind of like an 80s theme, which makes sense because it's Kim's 40th birthday. I don't like it. Something about it is weirding me out. I think it might be the fact that they mixed like kind of 2 very orangey brown tones with a fairly cool tone purple color scheme. If they had gone like full send, omitted those 2 browns on the end, or at least made them a little bit more cool toned, I think I would like it a lot more. Plus, I know it's more so to kind of diversify what the makeup brand offers, not necessarily a reflection of what Kim wears. But I think it always weirds me out when celebrity makeup brands come out with like colorful palettes with like colors in which I've never seen the actual celebrity who's the face of the brand wearing those colors on their eyes. Like, but that's just something that's interesting to me. Not necessarily saying that I would want celebrity makeup brands to only come out with neutrals, because that would suck too. But full send or don't come out with a purple palette. I just realized I have a lot of Natasha Denona in this video. Natasha's other newest palette, this is a holiday release, so I guess the Glam Palette is part of the permanent line. This is limited edition and it looks like it's one of the bigger palettes, so probably $129. It's the Trichrome Palette, which is, it's actually all mattes and 3 trichrome shades. It's very cool to see multi-chromes kind of breaking into the mainstream makeup sphere. Indie brands obviously create most of the trends in the makeup community. I believe it was the brand Chaos Makeup who kind of pioneered the first multi-chrome shadows that got really big. Multi-chromes are just a step up from duochromes. Duochromes typically have like 1 to 2 shift colors, whereas multi-chromes, obviously as the name would imply,
are multi-chrome.
So that's pretty much like 3+ shift shades. It looks like the multi-chromes in here are pretty much the standard multi-chromes that indie brands have had for a very long time, which is like purple to green, purple to pink, and green to yellow-ish. I think it looks beautiful. They better be beautiful for $129. I do like the way that this palette's laid out. You have the kind of green, olive green-ish and lime green row on top. An interesting lilac row in the middle. I would totally buy that as like a 5-pan palette from Endy. Tis very pretty, but tis very overpriced. I think if you're gonna experiment with multi-chromes or you want to try out multi-chromes, go straight to the source and go to the indie brands and support the indie brands. Next, I want to talk about Fenty Beauty's holiday collection. I do like to see makeup brands coming out with holiday gift sets of some of their like mini products. So most of the Fenty holiday collection are just like minis in sets, which I love. I would love if they would come out with a gloss bomb set again, not so I can buy it, but so I can buy it for other people. That set would make a really great stocking stuffer. You can divide the little gloss bombs amongst like 6 of your girlfriends. But there is a new Snap Shadows palette in the set called the Holidays. Oh my god. Holidays! Head empty. No thoughts. New 6-pan mini palette called the Holidays set. I would like to know if anyone here has tried any of the Fenty Snap Shadows. Are they good? Because honestly, I'm very unimpressed so far. I'm rooting for Fenty so much to come out with really good eyeshadow palettes. And in theory, I really love the concept of their mini palettes. They are very, very small in person. I was very shocked with how tiny they were. I do love a good compact packaging, obviously, but I'm very shocked that they haven't improved the eyeshadow formula thus far to be something a little bit more special. I've said it before, but it really feels to me a lot of the time that Fenty Beauty is run by 2 different creative directors, and it feels like those 2 sides don't communicate ever. They just release their own separate lines of Fenty Beauty products. Anyways, yeah, bring back the gloss bomb set, please.
Please don't play with me right now. Just, no, that's it, please.
Speaking of gloss bomb, I'm wearing like everyone's least favorite, but one of the most underrated gloss bomb shades, which is the Diamond Milk one. It's so pretty. Like, it's not a fully clear lip gloss in the way that the Tower 28 lip jelly is. This is my favorite clear gloss. This is not fully clear. It has a little bit of like a silvery undertone to it, but especially with the cool tone eye look, this over nude, so pretty. Kylie Cosmetics came out with a collection after her WAP outfit, new leopard collection. This video is gonna be just palettes, guys. Not gonna lie, this eyeshadow palette kind of did it for me. I hate leopard print viscerally, but also love it. So I love the color scheme. The metallics look very pretty. And honestly, I do like Kylie's eyeshadow formula, and I feel like they've been improving a lot. The palette was reminding me of something. It took me a minute to get there, but I think it looks a lot like the Mulan palette from Colourpop. The Kylie one has this really beautiful like slate gray matte, which I have no idea how the quality of that would be. Otherwise, I think they are very, very similar looking, especially these kind of like red and gold super metallic shades. I think they're very, very similar. Will I buy this palette? No. Am I considering dressing up as Kylie Jenner from the WAP video for Halloween? No, int. Colourpop has extended their roller gloss line. So they came out with the first roller gloss in the Candyland collection. I don't have it here. It is currently in my purse. That says a lot. I don't put things in my purse lightly. I love the roller packaging. Reminds me of when I was a justice rat. In my childhood, you were the baddest if you had a roller gloss in middle school. Anyways, I love the packaging of these ones. The formula, not so much, and I think that's just mostly because of the packaging. For a gloss to work, especially in a roller form, it has to not be a super viscous formula, otherwise it won't come out roller packaging. So it has to be like a fairly thin and liquidy texture. So I feel like when you apply it, you kind of get a very light sheen, the way a lip balm would give you a sheen, but it soaks into the lips very fast. So it's a very, very light texture gloss, very comfortable, but the glossy finish doesn't last very long on the lips, so it's really not super glossy, which is nice if you don't want a very sticky lip gloss, but it does sink into the lips very, very quickly. I'm not going to be buying any more of these, plus they are very sheer, so even though they are coming out with multiple colors and they come in a set, they're very likely going to look all the same on the lips. The only thing I will say is if you're wanting to get these and you're expecting a very like Y2K super glossy lip gloss, this is not that. This is basically like a very thin lip oil, but in roller gloss packaging. Two releases from Melt to talk about. Number one, their contour stacks. This is a release I really feel only makes sense for people who do makeup on others. Especially with the cream contour set that I was kind of intrigued by. I don't feel like contour palettes are a good decision for anybody if you don't do makeup on other people as a makeup artist. I feel like if Melt came out with singles of these contours, that would be a lot better. The only contour palette I have is from Anastasia. This is their Fair Cream Contour Kit, and I feel like this is the only contour palette color scheme wise that really makes sense to me. They all like work for me. I feel like Anastasia's contour palettes, they do have multiple shades in there, but they're all shades that would be functional for a single user. Plus, if you are a working makeup artist, you can pop out the pans in here and make a contour palette that you can use on multiple different skin tones. They are pretty though. It feels more and more that Melt is kind of paralleling the aesthetic of Kat Von D. No, Kat Von D wishes they were Melt. Never mind. Oh, I'm sorry. Kindness Rainbow's Vomiting Sunshine Vegan Beauty. Oops. There's other Melt release though. I need someone to blindfold me, I'm sorry. The Digital Dust Duo blushes, which have beads pressed into them in a honeycomb pattern. They are $39 each, so that's disgusting. Plus, I haven't really heard good things about Melt's blush lighter formula or highlighter formula. I've heard not great things about their kind of pressed Big Chalet formulas of cheek products. I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm so drawn to this just because it's pretty and that I very likely would not enjoy it and or use it. I'ma just pretend I don't see it. Yeah. Next up. Rare Beauty. Everything from that line is on my wish list right now. I currently have a filled Sephora cart right now ready to check out as soon as the VIB sale hits. I think I do still have VIB status from last year left over, so I do get the 10-15% off or something, which, you know, saves me like $8 or whatever. Sephora is such a scam. Anyways, I do be wanting to buy the entire Rare Beauty line with the exception of these new eyeshadow palettes. I don't know, these have very big Fenty Beauty Snap Shadow vibes. They're little baby $25 mini palettes. Looks like they're for the holiday collection. And they're all metallic shades, which kind of fits the vibe of the brand, but also I just wish this hadn't been the first eyeshadow release from Rare Beauty. I wish they'd come out with like a full-size palette as their first ever eyeshadows and then come out with these as a holiday collection. I don't know, I think these are cute gifts, especially for maybe like a younger makeup user or a teenager. These have fun shimmery colors, and middle school Julia would have gone straight to school with just that metallic blue powdered all over her eyelids and maybe the metallic white. on the lower lash line, because that was how I did things. Last thing on my list, I'm just going to be covering my eyes until the Marc Jacobs holiday collection with the cherries is gone. I need none of it. I want all of it. I'm just going to pretend it does not exist. And finally, this Natasha Denona highlighter. I know I don't like the regular ND formula. I don't know why I keep going back to Natasha Denona cheek products when I know they're not worth it. And I also know that this is a $42 highlighter, which is disgusting. However, it is a beige, basic, boring tone. And I love that so much. If you see me with this new highlighter in the next 2 months, no you didn't. And that is it. That is my entire folder. Honestly, will not be surprised if I need to do another holiday season anti-haul in the next month, because I'm sure things are going to start coming out. Usually makeup brands come out with all their holiday releases in like September, October. Sometimes they try and get them in November, especially before Black Friday, but I'm sure I had a point with that sentence, but I don't know where it was going, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you like content that makes your ears bleed. I have class in like 10 minutes, so you get the bonus meme. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. If you're in the United States, please vote. Bye.
What the hell are you doing? Got the veneers. My favorite palette thus far. Da Vinci, wanna go? Look at this flower, it's so pretty. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Like, I'm alone now. Hard conversation. Beautiful Montana. Missing Calabasas right now, but happy to be here. Exciting things in the work. Call me a friend, then you wouldn't do something like that. That is what toxic abusive people do. Gagging. It's something you've never seen before. I need a pair of sunnies, girl, it's hot out. There's no I in team. When I heard this information, I was just caught off guard. Really scary stuff.